In this video, I'm going to respond to Stone O Mountain. Good to hear from you again. It's been a while. Yeah, there was a couple of things you said in that great comment that you wrote, but I want to address at least one of them. I feel is something that I must have said wrong or something one time that I want to correct. I want to make sure that that I'm clear on this. There's something in there that I believe that you mentioned that you said you thought I might have said one time, but I read it and go, that's a logical fallacy. So if I ever said that, I want to make sure I clear that up. In fact, this is one that I hear this from people that argue with me sometimes. I hear the same statement and I correct them on it. So if I said this right here or somehow alluded to this or wasn't clear on something, let me go ahead and straighten it out. Okay, this is the line right here. I believe you once stated anything can become religion. Politics, sport tribes, basic scientific theory and social idolatry, fiction, entertainment, actors, etc., according to my diction. Okay, yeah, no, I think that religion is very specifically something that is a mental process that is meant to help guide somebody. That's it. It helps me live my life in a manner that if I didn't have this religion, I would be lost. If I didn't have there's control, there's something else in there, but it's very specific. Religion is meant to keep people in a group. It's meant to influence their way of life. It's meant to do things like that. Now, I want to say that from my knowledge, the term religion is a difficult term. It's a blanket term, and it's a bad term because many people that are, well, the issues that I see from the West, when you put like Christianity as a religion and Buddhism as a religion and Taoism a religion, you get other things that would not look like Christianity at all as a belief system, as how you live your life and how you interact with yourself and with life. They are radically different. One of them looks inward to the soul. The Buddhism, the Taoism, the spiritual teachings, they fit under the banner of religion because they're meant to help you guide yourself. And of course, I make sure to adjust my terms. When you hear me say soul, make sure you understand I mean my mental storage, my subconscious, that is what I am actually talking about. That's all I can work with. That's what I am. It really depends on who is put in the driver's seat. In another religious, like the Abrahamic style, that is outward looking. Now you're looking outward to the supernatural. You're still trying to do the same mental processes, but now you're attributing it to being a supernatural entity instead of yourself. Those are so different from each other, and they produce incredibly different results. Science and stuff like that, no. They're looking for implicit truth. That's not a religion. Nothing like those are religions to me. Those are ways of looking for answers. What's applicable now is a comment from the late, great quantum physicist Richard Feynman. I would rather have questions that I can't answer than answers that I can't question. That is so radically different. Right there, that illustrates the difference between science and at least Abrahamic religion. That doesn't fit in everybody in religion. There are people who try to find out truth and they don't deny things. There are people in Christianity today that must deny dinosaurs, that must deny evolution, but not all of them do. There's room for variability in there. When it comes down to reality, there is no room for variability anymore. You're just looking for the truth, and that's what you set with. And you don't share the spotlight with people that are making supernatural claims, Yeah. But for me, there's a reason for that, and it happens in the quality of the experience. You're sitting there free-forming mentally, trying to figure out things, trying to resolve stuff, and you're on a roll and feeling good, and answers are coming. And often the supernaturalist resorts to They cannot demonstrate supernatural. We all know that already. They cannot demonstrate supernatural. And science, as it finds things and it unfolds and it locates evidence and shares evidence, the evidence does not support the religious claims that pre-existed. So what happens in cases like that is you're just looking for answers. You don't care about the theism, but the theist at that point will start interfering or can. By just saying things are wrong, they're lying, science changes its mind, all that kind of stuff. When it's like that, yeah, you're not looking at the big picture. I always look at it like this. I'll listen to what you got. Show me something. If you can't show me anything, that doesn't mean I am telling you that you're wrong or that you're lying or anything like that. I'm looking for answers. I'm not looking to put you down. I don't care what you're doing. I'm looking for answers. That's it. You get to that point and it's difficult to deal with people. Maybe that's why this one is so quiet. I just don't even, I won't discuss layer 2. Seriously, that's like discussing whether the world is flat or not. Or ultimately, at some point in time, once you realize the template is there and you see what is nested inside of it, it's like arguing with somebody about a fable and whether or not the tortoise must have been God's chosen is why that really happened. While you realize, no, there's something in there. The Bible is much richer, all spiritual. They're not catching what's in there. They're reading it as if it's literal. There's something deeper. Here's a better metaphor. It's like somebody has a gift, a box with pretty wrapping with something inside of it. And all they do is look at the pretty wrapping and tell you about the pretty wrapping. They never look inside. Meanwhile, you realize that pretty wrapping is just the carrier. You're looking inside. And that's how it is once you see the template. Jesus himself said, when he's saying, seek and knock for righteousness, I read that today as look for the bottom line truth, which means he was not religious. There's no religion there. We're looking for reality. I want to know the energy of the cosmos and how I emerge. And I want to study that and learn it and try to figure it out. There's nothing about that requires me to have faith or to look inward or to meditate or to change the way that I feel, my own past, even though they're linked and that they work together that way. And that's where the difficulty is in what I'm doing, is that there's this crossover between how we live life and how we experience life. But me going on an inner path trying to heal myself is a lot different than an astrophysicist going, okay, if we do the calculations of this black hole and we get the collapse of it, that doesn't work. Let's try something different. Those are so different. One of them is looking for the truth of how things work. The other one is looking for how I feel better. And then theism, of course, is looking to feel better by not knowing things, honestly. While telling themselves they know everything, at the same time, you get to a point where you've gone around the world and learned as much as you can, and you look at them and go, you barely know your own local stuff. That authority you speak with doesn't work out in the big world. It doesn't work in a big picture. It works in a very small space. At any rate, okay, I wanted to be clear on that. No, there are times where people will come up, yet say things like, oh, atheism is and I don't consider myself an atheist or a theist. These are all labels we're looking for. I am a truth seeker. I just want to know the truth. An atheist is somebody who stands against something here or there. If there's a God, I'm open to it. God's going to be in the background, doing what? I don't know. We're on our own, and we need to function that way. And if there's a God out there, then that God is watching us to see what we're like, and they don't care about, well, it's up to each person. I honestly, I've said this before, if there's a God like the God of Christians or the God of the Jews right now that exists that way, the quality of that God right there is piss poor to me. The way they look at it as this idea that if you worship me, they've created a God that is a narcissist that they're going to spend eternity worshiping. They've created an idol to worship. That sounds like hell. If there's a God out there, the God would be like, you know what? I'm not going to interact with you. I'm going to watch you. I'm going to see what you can figure out on your own. I'm going to see if you can do it without fear, without control. Can you be good to one another without me? Yeah. Anyway, okay. That's if. I don't even need to go there. Because I don't operate that way. I don't operate as if there's something supernatural in the background because there's nothing you can do about that. That is a logical fallacy. Existence, therefore God. Logical fallacy. If you are a theist, you function with logical fallacy. Which means you have to be untrue about things. You have to believe things, or true is maybe not a right word. Yeah, there is a measure of truth and untruth involved there. I've never seen a theist once that accepted everything that science said and still was able to be a theist. There has to be this denial of truth. I don't do that. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, okay. I guess I went off there a little bit. I forgot I was answering or responding to a comment here. I'm sorry about that, Stone. Anyway, yeah. Logical fallacies. Everybody is the same way. No, we're not. No, we're not. Honestly, if a theist calls me an atheist because I don't believe what they believe, what I instantly sense from them is a militant division position that they've just taken. They've just designated me as their opposition right there by calling me an atheist. Okay, and then just more general, I guess, overview of things here. What you had talked about, you had an uncanny valley experience going to a modern Hindu temple in South Africa, and you felt empty, like there was no actual belief there. The actual practice there might be corrupted because the idea you leave your textbooks in the care of the deity of knowledge inside the temple, if there isn't. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to continue reading on with that. But what I want to say is this, because you mentioned it was in Africa. And, something that I've learned is that, you can go to somewhere north you can go to a liberal place where there's a small white church and find people that are liberal Christians that live, eat, and breathe one way. They might even have gay neighbors that they invite over for holiday dinners and things like that. They're going to be completely different. They're going to be very, what I would say is Jesus-like. Then you're going to find Christians that are absolutely different, that they're very radicalized, they're very angry, they're very hateful towards certain groups when what they're really doing is acting out through they're showing the walls of their own shame. They're acting out against what they cannot resolve. They're showing their fear. But they're not living that way. And you look at those two groups and go, boy, these are different groups. One people are, very open and okay with stuff, and the other ones are so fanatical against it that they're actually forcing a creation of, an amplitude of the other side. You can see that creation is happening there, that measure you meet unto others you can see that going back and forth, rising, getting bigger. You can go to South Africa someplace and you will find minister telling their family that their 8-year-old child is possessed with the devil and must be kicked out, and the family will abandon them in the street. All of those are under Christianity. They don't even look the same. Yeah, there's a point where you look at religion and go, whew. You step back far enough, go to God mode. What is religion? Religion is just a bunch of little supernatural control mechanisms all over the globe for animals that are evolving and that are not transitioning smoothly from animal status to civilization status. That all that animal background stuff is still there. We're still evolving. We're still taking over. We're still trying to crowd everybody's valley and take other resources. Things are happening there. If there's enough to go around, things are okay. When things get tight, falls apart, doesn't it? We're evolving. They're used in different ways. They're excuses for many people. And some are, really the religion takes on the face and the nature of the group of people that are practicing it. The practitioners at that time and place in the world. Yeah. Look at the core. So at the core of all of those religions is this one template, and this one template is not religious at all. It is science-based. They take a science-based reality. We emerge from the cosmos. We operate with cause and effect. We continue to have experience based on what we have processed up here, and unless we interact with them, it can change our lives. We're going to continue to have those experiences, and if we do, we're going to have to change the way we live our life. We're going to move on from one place to another. That is what is there, and that is true, and it's mental for us, and it's all energy-based. It is science. What do they put it in? Supernatural and mythical carriers for humans. What does that tell us about humans? It'll travel. This template will travel in all manner of ways. Those Hindus do not know the template's there. Billy Graham did not know the template was there. It doesn't matter how high people get up there. The Pope, I bet he knows, and is just maintaining the lie. Yeah, Christianity is the template's there. The template is not in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, Sermon on the Plain, or Gospel of Thomas, or Buddha's Dhammapada, or Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. All the teachings are there, but they're not always templates. If you go into the Bible, you find monomyth after monomyth after monomyth, but not all of it is monomyth. There are different things happening. Proverbs, Psalms, things like that. There's different types of scriptural teaching reference kind of verse that they're of a different style. They're not always monomyth or hero journey style of ways of teaching. But all of them are carrying the same teaching, and it's all science-based. Yeah, there's weird things, and you go there and you find deadness to it and all that. Yeah, the religions are going to take on the quality of the local elite or practitioners, whoever's in charge of that. Whatever their beliefs are, that's what the religion is going to. There will be some adjusting to the religion, but by and large, yeah, it's there. Okay. What I want to say is if you go through this material and you begin reading it and you begin learning what there is in there about terms and the way people are supposed to be to go on this path, to be isolated, to be alone, to go solo, to conquer yourself, all of these things that you look at, the kind of person that you're supposed to be and whatnot, that here's what comes to my realization as I go along and as I'm reading that, as I'm understanding in Taoism what kind of a person I'm supposed to be, or in Buddhism. I don't look at those at any point in time and say, wow, I need to learn how to be that. I look at them and go, wow, I am automatically like that. And that is where evidence of we're just born a certain way comes from. That there is something happening that are patterned behaviors in brain types. And we already know that there's a patterned certain sort of brain types that would have been the group and the combination of them. I think if we take that group of brain types and put them all in an evolving society in the field, that would make much better sense to us what's going on. But we're not in that position anymore, so we're looking at things. But those brain types are still variations. They're still more rare. They're the introverts that are on the outside that have have evolved with a larger scope of capacity to see, because you're evolving on the outside of the group. You're first in line for the lion's dinner, So you not only have to keep an eye on everything bigger than you're kind of watching the group. You're kind of forced to be the group watcher by being an introvert, and you can't stand the raucousness in there. So here we are later going, oh, what the heck happened? Yeah, that's us right there. It's a brain type. That's it. At any rate, so there's a point I should finish up this video. I'm just rambling on here, having fun. And yeah, I'll say that. Religion, whatever people practice, it doesn't matter. If they're holding on to the religion and believing in the religion, they don't see the template. They don't see the purpose of it. However, I'm going to suggest that it is encoded in the teachings that this is what you're supposed to do. And when Jesus has his verse about there's more to it, but there's a point where Jesus says, oh, I am not a divider, am I? Where he's being asked to divide something up. That there's a point in time where the teachings are that we go in internally and cease to be divided internally. And as within, so without, we would cease to be dividers outward. In fact, by logical extension, if you think through this template, if you were in Saudi Arabia and you were a Muslim and you realized that the Quran contains this template and you went after the template, it would lead you to a certain place. And you would become just like the Hindu in India who realized that the Mahabharata contains the templates and that they take that path and drop Hinduism and follow it, and they'll get to the same place that the Muslim got to. And if you go to Babylonia, same thing. Judaism, same thing. Anybody who from their local region, following their different religion for their different people, finds the template, they cease to be dividers. You become like all the people who know reality. And of course, I'm going to caveat this with, we just have to keep going through the material and you have to see it for yourself. I'm not telling anybody, here's what you should believe. This is the kind of stuff that is actually viewable once one learns how to actually how to interpret it in the mind. Sometimes that's okay. There could be people living a Buddhist or a Taoist or some kind of a peaceful lifestyle like that. They're not going out and worshiping and, looking at something supernatural, but they've been hurt. They come from a place where they've been abused and they're looking inward, and they may not want to go forgive who hurt them. It's too painful. It's too much. So they might on a regular basis begin living this lifestyle of letting things go, being at peace. I'm going to help my neighbor. I'm going to go do things that are not the way I used to do things. I'm going to meditate. You begin taking on a lifestyle practice that helps you live a better life. So there's absolute benefit there to it. You don't have to turn inward and heal. You can live that lifestyle. However, some lifestyles are very personal, turn inward and look at yourself. Other ones are very much outward. Look at, what was it earlier? I'm a theist, you're an atheist. It's very divisive. The outward-looking religions are more tribal. Yeah, they are. They function for a number of different reasons. Yes, I feel good. It helps me live. It helps give mental peace to people who are suffering. It does those things. Does it keep some people in line? Boy, I hope so. You would hope people would be better than that, though. There's another logical fallacy. I don't hear this very much, but every once in a while you get that you cannot be a good person unless you believe in God. Makes me think, what would this person be like if there wasn't a God there? Yikes. That's kind of scary to hear people say stuff like that. Kind of tells us more about them than us. Yeah. Anyway, okay, hope that clears it up. No, religion is very specific, and I think what I'm doing is not religious. I don't know that I would even call it spiritual. I don't know what it is. Although it impacts the human and how we feel and how we live our life experiences with emotion and success, it is nevertheless based in a scientifically based, observable, interactive process on a template that is nested in supernatural carriers that people are all over believing without knowing. You're carrying a very old template, the template of the cosmos. You know what, though? It is going to feel like a spiritual or a religious experience. You have to turn inward and heal. We have to let go of things. We have to learn how to remove ourselves from the pain of our life experiences. And when you continually work that through to the nth degree, it comes down to one place. We have a memory and the perception of that memory stored in our brain. And if you go to the perception and change the perception, which is difficult, you got hurt, how do you make that not be hurtful anymore? That is what you have to do in order to actually heal. So, if that happens, first of all, you can see that that's a completely mental and a natural physical occurrence. That's a process right there, a physical process. That is not supernatural at all. However, what happens then is once you've relieved that stuff, it changes what is stored in your mind so that, number one, you feel incredibly enlightened, like, oh my God, thank you, whatever it is. You're going to feel that way because you've unfettered yourself from a load you're carrying, and life is going to change as a result. Your father, you've now resolved the odd against your brother, and your father, who sees in secret, is rewarding you in secret right there. Anyway, whether you do it for religious reasons or personal reasons, or if you just if you just do it, it's going to function that way. Which tells us what? Which tells us that it's a quantum physical property of human life existence in this universe, and that is really what is at the core. And if you get rid of all of the outward-looking beliefs trying to make it happen and just go, oh, I got to go right up here, it becomes so interactive so fast, and it changes your life so quickly. But you got to make that transition. If not, you just got to live the life carrying the pretty box. That's how I see it, in my humble opinion, or maybe not so humble. All right. Hope this video was fun, and I hope that answered the question. And I kind of blabbered all over the place as well too. Not everything was directed at Stone-O Mountain, but it's kind of in general terms as well. All right, on the next video, what I want to do is just kind of talk about the steps a little bit better. In Genesis, I realized there's a mountain of stuff in there, a lot of component parts that just muddle things up. if I set that off to the side and just go grab Exodus right now, I can see some very distinctive steps. So let's go ahead and do that on the next video. And yeah, that should be more revealing. All right, till then, love one another. I'll see you in that video.